right, welcome back, Gopher fans. It'll just be me and Kurt tonight for another episode of Sky U Pod. Bye week this week, week 4 for the Gophers, so no game to preview. But we didn't stay up late to recap the Cal games. We figured we could do that tonight. If any of you were up past midnight and up past your bedtime like we were, we'd like to hear your comments and thoughts on the game. But Kurt, how are we doing after a few days after the loss at Cal?
Let me start with this so I don't come across as a total homer. I want to start by just giving Cal the praise that it does deserve for the things they did this game. So after we get this out of the way, then I can go into full blown homer mode. So here's what I wanna say. Um, JKS, the quarterback, was maybe even better than advertised. Like, I was surprised how quickly Cal was willing to just turn it over and go like almost full backyard football with him and just let him run around and create plays. Um, for a true freshman, I mean, regardless of being a true freshman, just super impressive performance. He was good, tough to get down. So, hats off to him. The defense, it was tough, maybe in ways I wasn't expecting them to be, as in the sense that like we couldn't um, like they were really good at not giving up the big play, and I think that's kind of what maybe separated the two defenses on the night. They created a few more takeaways, obviously, and yeah, just their defense did it made us earn everything, even when it felt like we were able to move the ball. It was all really well earned, and mainly us having to like move them around to get those yards. So Cal's defense was absolutely legit. They were just, and their schemes were they knew what they wanted to do, and it didn't always look like the Gophers did. And we'll get into here in a second, but yeah, I mean Cal was as good as advertised, if not better, and tough to feel like we deserved that one with how we played and just how well coached I thought they looked compared to us.
Right. Yeah, no, Sangapula did not disappoint, especially for being the same age as Drake Lindsay. It was kind of an interesting battle between the two redshirt freshmen. Um, Actually, no, is Sangapula redshirt or is he a true freshman? I don't remember
I think
now.
he's
But
true freshman.
yeah, so younger
Yeah,
than Drake, and he's already looking. I mean, he could throw the ball, he could run a little bit. Yeah, his ability to like extend plays, especially against our defense, who just had
that just
zero
gave us fits.
productivity in the pass rush game, and then we just okay, we'll drop 8, and then can't cover anyone at all. So but he took advantage, right? Like he still made some big time throws. I think the plays he made before the end of the first half, like to get themselves in the field goal range to pick up those 3 points, was huge. And he just never really looked rattled ever. So, like you said,
Right.
they took advantage of our mistakes. They really played fairly mistake free football. No turnovers. We both had the same amount of penalties. It felt like it really felt like Cal kind of was more productive the entire game. But you look back, I mean, we had very similar yards, very similar third down efficiency. Neither of us converted a fourth down. We had more time of possession. It really just came down to we turned the ball
So we
over.
won in PJ's eyes.
Exactly, yeah. We, but yeah, when you turn the ball over twice and you just don't make key plays. I mean, we got 2 touchdowns on like 5 plays from inside the 5 yard line at the goal line. Like that's
Yeah,
tough. You just can't finish drives. Their field goal or their kicker made field goals and ours didn't. Yeah, I mean credit to them. They played mistake free and deserved to win it.
their coaches were much more consistent at sticking with what was working than I think ours were. So,
Right.
you want to start with offense or defense
We can start
or
with
special
offense.
teams? Okay,
I don't want to start. I don't even want to.
offense. Like, if just speaking about the offense in general, like, yeah, it wasn't a great performance, but as far as like player execution, I know it was a very slow start, which I think we all predicted to happen, being going out there for the West Coast game. Definitely started slow, but at the same time, I thought they weren't done any favors by Greg Harbaugh. I thought I mean, the offense was really bad under that first year with Athan. So I don't, and a lot of blame went to Athan. But so if we just remove that year in total, I think this was easily his worst play called game. Very conservative. Took way too long to figure out what was working. uh, And then, I see people talk about how like there's not enough separation for people downfield, which granted that didn't look like there was a ton, but I didn't see us take a ton of shots down the field. And when we did, it still feels like we're only sending like two guys on go routes on the opposite side of the field, and that's all we really got as far as down the field threats. Like I'm talking 20+ yard throws. It's not schemed up, I don't think, in this offense, and that's something we've consistently seen. We talked about the lack of explosive plays last year. This year, the receivers got a whole new shuffle again for the most part. Brought in guys like Malachi Coleman, Logan Loya, Javon Tracy. We hear about guys like New K's being really explosive with the ball in his hands. We don't see some of the guys on the field, and the other guys that do play don't seem to be playing enough or get targeted enough. So that's frustrating. I don't think Harbaugh has a good feel of how to use guys. I think we saw why AJ Turner averages 10 yards a game, even at the MAC level, and is primarily off tackle outside. But we don't adjust. Like, I didn't feel like any time when he was in there at running back, there was an adjustment to the plays that were being ran. It was, all right, you're in here now, so you're up the gut. It's like Harbaugh has this offense, and it's got some nice plays in it, but it doesn't really matter what kind of player you are. It's just this is how the play is going to be ran, and So I know I'm totally fan quarterbacking it, but like we kept trying to stretch run plays. Honestly, once Turner got hurt, I felt like we went to it more. I don't have the exact uh, play sheet in front of me when we ran it, but it took us too long to figure out to pound the ball. Like you said, praised it. Running downhill was effective. I mean, this was the best defense we saw, and I would argue it was arguably just based the competition we went against. It was the best rushing performance, with especially without having Darius Taylor. Femi Ejeboy had a great game in his first full time action. Could have probably seen him get the ball more. I believe he had 18 carries or 16 carries. Yeah, 16 carries, 85 yards. So he was averaging 5 yards a carry against a really good Cal defense. And then I guess I'll turn it over to you because I can rant about everything that's. I'll turn it over to you. This maybe touch on what I said, and then I'll let you lead with the O line and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah, just I guess on the topic of the play calling, I mean, we punted on our first four drives of the game. All three possessions in the first quarter, we had to punt. And then we come back in the second quarter, and it's the first drive that we have, starting from our own 2 yard line. We're driving the football down. I literally had to look back at it because I'm like, was that the same possession that it felt like, you know, Cal pinned us deep with the punt? We've punted 3 times, so it feels like, okay, this can't end well. We go 27-yard run, 4 yard run, 9 yard run, 16-yard pass, 6 yard run. Like we're moving the ball down the field finally, right? It's like, okay, we figured it out. We've shaken off, the time change. It's late. We've woken up now, right? 2nd and 4 from the Cal 32. You're basically in field goal range. Let's just keep driving the ball. And we call a double pass to Coy Parrish, which, yeah, if it works, he looks like a genius, but it was so mind-boggling to see, like, we're in the middle, like, we just finally got into a rhythm, and then we just shoot ourselves in the foot. And to go even deeper, like, you're gonna call that play to our what we call, like, what people try to compare to, like, our Travis Hunter. Like, everyone knows when Coy's on the
Yeah,
field, he's called out. So you don't
right.
think they're gonna be ready for some play to go, like, it just made no sense. So that was like the
Here's
first
I
big
want to stay
like.
out because I was going to say come back to this play in particular. Everyone's like, well, the element of surprise is what made it so. Is when you call a trick play. It's like kind of, but you also did absolutely nothing to set that play up.
Right.
Yeah, you hit Coy on one pass earlier in the drive. It was like a 15-yard out. It was nothing that looked like that play. We had done nothing to set up a quick throw. So,
No.
and if he has already hit you for like a medium to long gain, why would they come running up on it? You know what I mean? Like it's not
Right.
going to suck everybody up to come get him on a quick, screenplay to him. It just so that there was no setup to it, and and then other people are saying like, well, why didn't he throw it away? I'm almost positive you can't just throw it away unless they want him to throw it towards the receiver and like in that way. I'm almost positive you have to be the player to take the snap to have the same afforded rights to just chuck it out of bounds. So yeah, Koi had a rough game. That play was not on him at all. Like you can say he tried to run backward. He's trying to make a play. Like the play was dead. They were all over him,
Yeah.
and it wasn't open deep. It didn't fool anybody. So that's what I mean when Harbaugh. I tweeted it out from our account. He has zero ability or feel of when to call these trick plays. Going back to the game last year against Penn State, where it's third and goal, we're down 4, we're inside the 10, we're having trouble creating separation. So what's the play call? We're going to call a backwards pass to our left tackle on the same side as Abdul Carter's on, who's a top 10 draft pick
Yeah.
going into that year. Like, just you don't think you're going to create separation, so you thought that your left tackle is going to outrun Abdul Carter to the end zone. Like, that's what I mean. Like, I get it. Trick plays, they're easy to criticize from, like, as fans, easy to get mad at. But that one in particular, this last Saturday, was an extremely dumb call because you just did nothing to even make them think that that play initially looked like a threat. So anyway,
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean that was like it's things like that. And it seemed like it just happened throughout the game on both sides of the ball, really, where it's like once we got into a rhythm and got into a groove, we just made it harder on ourselves than it needed to be. But credit to the offense too. I mean, the very next drive that we did put another good drive together and did score a touchdown. Um,
yeah,
and then even in the end of the third quarter, I think that was like the biggest freshman moment I've seen out of Drake Lindsay is just that ball that he threw that got intercepted. He was trying to force it into
sure,
Lemecki. I don't know what happened. It was just a bad throw, but it seemed like that was really his only like major mistake of the night. I know he had an
yeah,
almost interception at the end of the game, but that was kind of he's trying to just force the ball down the field at that point. But
yeah. People
I
are
don't know.
trying to point out that he had Lemecki on that fourth down when we were down 2 scores, but
He
there was
did,
pressure kind
but
of coming again. But it was kind of like it's
and he's
hard to hold
crossing
that
under
against a
shallow.
redshirt. Yeah,
Yeah,
and so it was tough to hold that against a redshirt freshman when literally he was probably, I mean, outside of Lemecki, probably your best offensive player on the night. Like he was really good and putting the ball
right,
right where it needed to be 80% of the time. So,
right.
I mean, the announcers and our Cal friends that came on Boston both said really nice things about Drake Lindsay the whole time. So it's not just us fans, like you know, propping him up or hyping him up. Like Drake Lindsay is a legit elite quarterback talent. So, yeah,
Yeah,
I don't blame really Lindsay at all for what was called. I here's how I feel about the offense, and it is different than how I feel about the defense this game. I felt that the offense execution was not always great, but the offensive execution was good enough to win the game. I just didn't think they were coached well. I didn't think the play calls were there for them. I thought the O line, for how young and new mixed together the O line is, yeah, they gave up 2 sacks, and it was kind of the more the senior guys on the right side. The young guys in the middle and left side look pretty good, and then that was not a slouch of a defense they went up against. So yeah, I'm not saying it was perfect. They definitely got pressure on Lindsay here and there and did get him a couple times, but we won a handful of games last year with much worse O line performances, I guess is how I'll say. So thought the O line
yeah,
played well enough. Yeah, receivers probably should have caught the ball better, but I mean, I just didn't think they got enough help from the coaches, to be honest.
yeah, yeah. And like sticking with it felt like we made it harder on ourselves. And I went back and looked at it too, and I I literally wrote down every second down and third down play. Um, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, and it would take a long time to probably figure out like what a normal second down yard to go should be. I don't think it should be an average of 9.5 yards to go.
No,
Like
no.
we we were just constantly not producing anything on early downs, and then even on third down, we were in third and more than seven. It felt like the entire game. So it's kind of impressive that we actually converted as many third downs as we did, and how many
Yeah,
long drives we were able to kind of string together. Um, but like that's not sustainable, and that's
right.
just like you said, the players executed well enough to get the win, but I mean they were just fighting uphill all night
On offense. Yeah,
on up
I
right
just make that
exactly
clear.
yeah
There
And
was some
that's
special teams and defensive units that I didn't think were up to
yes, definitely on
really, but
offense.
yeah,
To highlight some pros or like positives on offense, I mean, like we said, Lemecki, I feel like that was his first like true wide receiver one performance where he was not only targeted a lot, but he made every play and made some different, some big catches, ran some different routes we haven't
first
really seen before. So
first game with over, I think it was like 55 yards and more than 2 catches. I
yeah,
think.
yeah. So he did great.
Yeah,
And
Lemecki.
then
I thought Tracy. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
no, you're good. Yeah, I also just wanted to Femi Ejeboy, the young running back. I feel like he was really not talked about much in the preseason. Um, Definitely some things to clean up, but like he's just a perfect kind of power back that can make. Yeah, I think he broke like at least four or
Yeah.
five tackles. It seemed like so.
Yep.
Some positives that are there, I guess, to take all
Yeah,
that away.
that's why I was hoping you would get in there more. It's just the other backs are fine. Where we really miss Darius is in the passing game and the ability to make at least one guy miss. And I think Darius could even. I'll say this: I thought Feme even better than what we've seen out of Darius the last handful of games. I thought Feme was better at making the first guy miss, and so
Yeah,
he's got really good vision. Uh, I don't know. I felt like we didn't see him as much as the game went on necessarily. Like he got in there like in key downs, but felt like it went. He had that stretch there where we were really consistently moving, where he was in there a lot, and then he kind of went back to committee, and then we went to him kind of in key spots. But it is what it is. Maybe they just didn't want to put too much on. I don't know him in his like first big time game, but
right.
yeah, I think Javon Tracy needs to be a guy that they go out and purposely target more. And they got to just get more creative in their routes because they really only have like that back shoulder fade or down the sideline throw that they seem to throw to him. I don't know. Like, are our big, taller, big bodied receivers not able to just run like an occasional slant or something? Like, I don't. It doesn't feel like we run a whole lot of crossers underneath. I don't know. Like,
Right.
and I
Yeah,
know
there's not
I'm
enough.
totally there's need to be a better mix of when and how the routes come together. I just think
Yeah,
Jalen Smith, yeah, he gets open apparently because every time he's out there he seems to get thrown the ball. Right now he's kind of Ernie Wheelwright. No disrespect to Ernie Wheelwright, but Ernie Wheelwright ran some solid routes. Really was tall and fast. Jalen Smith is tall and fast. Doesn't have great hands at this moment. So, um, I heard the debate. Well, you better just play him to get him to grow. Honestly, I'd like to see more of his routes go to Tracy at this point. I think you have some solid receiving options between Lemecki, Javon Tracy. I think Jamison Gears needs to be a purposely targeted person in this passing offense. And I would Logan Loya could catch everything and get open all the time at UCLA, and somehow he's got like what 5 catches in 3 games for us or something like that. Somebody I thought we were going
yeah,
to be using all the time. I don't know if it's just because we have a lot of 2 and 3 tight end sets that we're using, which is fine, but like I don't know, maybe we'd create more explosive plays with more of when more receivers are out there or mixed in a little bit more. So um, yeah, I think we have guys there that are good enough to build a threatening passing offense, or at least one that you have to respect. Um, I'm not saying we have like guys like Ohio State or anything like that, but I'm just sick of the excuse of these receivers aren't getting separation. We've shuffled this room pretty much every year since 2019 of who's making up this receiver room, and you can't scheme guys open. You can't get guys open. You have burners on the team. Coy Parrish is playing receiver because he's one of our better athletes. That is supposedly one of the fastest guys too. How many? We're not throwing him down the field very often. He had one catch for like 16 yards. It was a 16-yard out. So if he's got to play both ways because your receivers are that bad, that's on coaching at this point. Um, Malachi Coleman is 6'5" and runs like a 4.3, whatever. He's super fast. Like you can't teach him. Maybe he's not fully polished to be a full time player this year. You can't have a couple of plays or a couple of routes that like when he's in, you're running this or this. Like you can't have him do that. That's a coaching issue. Same with Danielle Hayes, Nuke Hayes. He's a guy that's exposed with the ball in his hand. You can't have a handful of plays at any moment you can go to get the ball in his hands. Christian Driver's supposed to be a slippery guy. He's not seeing the field. So I'm done with this excuse that it's the players. you've had about 30 different players. It's amazing how teams that go back to the Big Ten West versus Big Ten East days, Purdue always found a way to find guys, and they're not one of these top tier, you know, uh, always contending teams. So I don't want to hear it's an NIL thing. I don't want to hear that it's a personnel thing at this point. You have guys with different body types, different skill sets. You got to figure it out. I don't know if that's Matt
Yeah,
Simon. I don't know if it's Harbaugh. Both. Uh, it's coaching at this point.
right. And I mean, you've got Drake Lindsay who has no problem making passes. Like, how open do they
Yeah,
really need to be at this
I
point?
know.
Like,
It's
the dude's
ridiculous.
got an arm. We've seen him make some big throws already in his very young 3 game career, and he's probably
Yeah.
going to just keep getting better. So, yeah,
Another thing, you mentioned it. Maybe we were off here, but you brought up how we took like 5 plays from inside the 5 or whatever to score that first touchdown that was kept alive by penalties. Red zone play calling is atrocious. Atrocious.
yeah,
It's how many every game we get in the red zone. It's 2 routes and they both run fades and there's 2 guys sitting on each receiver. That's happened every game we've played in. Buffalo multiple times, Cal multiple times. It's not there. Get creative. Why get inside in tight where everything's condensed and you just play max protection and make it easy on the defense? Have some guys
right.
running a slant, make it put some pressure like on a quick throw. At least have the threat of a quick throw there. You don't because
Maybe a
as
good
you
time
can
for Malachi
tell,
Coleman to get his big body on
yeah,
the field. Like,
yeah. And if you're gonna throw a jump ball, get Tracy and like Coleman in there, guys that are
right.
big. Doesn't make any sense. As you can
Yeah.
tell, I wasn't pleased with Harbaugh's game calling in this, so I think he's got a lot to prove. I've been on record of never being sold on him. Yeah, people thought just because we could throw the ball and do nothing else that he's like, oh, and he's like the least paid Big Ten offensive coordinator there is. Yeah, I think he's getting paid plenty. I just I I haven't seen. Wow, he really knows how to mess up a drive with a random trick play. Has he ran a trick play that's worked? I guess the fake took. I'll give him the fake tush push, which is just an end around. Which I'd love to see more stuff like that. Like I don't know, stuff that goes off the stuff that
Yeah.
was already working. See how that works? That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Anyway,
Yeah. I'll agree. I mean, I feel like I've been on record of being I'll say a Harbo. Let's wait and see. I don't want to say like apologist or defender because I
right,
just thought, he's a new play caller. He'll figure it out. And I think last year and the year, well, 2 years ago, I think we saw a glimpse of what he maybe wanted to do with Ethan, and it just didn't pan out. So
sure,
we just went run, run, run. And last year, we finally got a quarterback, and it was like, oh, okay, so we can be a little more dynamic. Now this year, the expectations are a little bit higher. He's got more experience under his belt, probably a better thrower of the football. And yeah, we're just seeing questionable. Like, we can't even have an opening game script. I feel like our first drive,
yeah,
that's the advantage that every offense has, right? You see a poor
right,
offense drive down the field and score a touchdown, and you go, okay, well, let's see what they do when they don't run plays that you just scripted all week in practice. We don't even have that. We're kind of just figuring it out. And
yeah.
the good news is we got guys, right? Like, we've got guys that
You
can make
think,
plays,
yeah.
but I don't know how long they can do this for where they're just bailing out the play calling. Like, it's tough. I mean, to go to a specific play towards the end of the game, and this was where it all fell apart. The 3rd and 7 run at the gut, very poorly executed. We let the linebacker come in unblocked, but like, we're just
Oh
back to
yeah,
that.
I think that I put on PJ. That third a
Right,
run on 3rd and 7. I have to believe in my heart of hearts that that is PJ Fleck behind that call. And it is a terrible call. I'm not excusing the coaches. I just personally
right,
I don't put that one on the OC. That is on PJ. Yeah, I'm glad we finally got to PJ because since we're kind of talking about coaching at this point, he went full. He was full back in turtle mode. There was nothing that was new or exciting. I mean, I guess we let Drake move the ball most of the time, but yeah, I mean, maybe that's part of it too. Maybe that's part of why the red zone is the way it is. They just think, okay, redshirt freshman, protect him. When really Drake Lindsay is one of your best players, and so you just gotta
right,
kind of, even if he's going to make a mistake here and there, I think this offense best bet is to live and die by him in a sense in that way. Like, I don't want any handcuffs being put on Drake Lindsay in this offense. I just keep letting him go. Because if we're
Right.
going to let Jalen Smith go out there and drop passes, and for the sake of growing, we might as well turn it over to Drake Lindsey, go out there and sling it around. Like
Right.
that logic doesn't apply to one person and not the other. Like that doesn't make any sense. So
We're gonna let Coy try and throw it, apparently.
yeah. Uh, and people saying, first of all, everyone's coming out now and all upset that Coy is playing both ways. Can I just say, I really, truly, I'm not saying we were the only ones. I truly did not see anybody else raising the concern about it other than us on this podcast. I'm just going to pat us on the back there. And hey, I don't even know if the offense is what's causing the issues on the defense and the special teams. I think that was kind of just a really bad night for Coy, obviously in general. But I don't even know if it's the offense because he's not doing a whole lot out there. So I don't. If it is taking his
No.
time away, like his thoughts away from the defense and special teams, and yeah, obviously stop it. But I don't even, as somebody that didn't want Coy to be on offense to begin with, I don't think his action, his gameplay on offense is necessarily the cause for his performance this past Saturday on defense and special teams. So I just wanted to say
Right.
that.
Yeah, his workload on offense is that amount should not be impacting the rest of his
Right.
game. And I mean,
That's my point. If he's supposed to be this guy on offense, we got to have him out there more because we're
right,
not taking shots down the field necessarily. So if he's supposed to be the guy that can be an option down the field for us, like we got to see that more. Otherwise, what are we doing? Like
right.
Javon
And he
Tracy
did
Lemecki. Go ahead.
it like he has made some plays. Like he made a
Yeah,
play right before the failed trick play. Like seeing him
yeah.
do it, we just don't
I just
we
don't
don't try
know
it
if
enough.
the other receivers on the roster, like I think we've already seen the other receivers on the roster make those catches that he's making.
Right.
Off the top of my head, it feels like all of his catches so far are like outs. There have been like outs or like little comeback routes, which I feel like is all I've seen out of most of the receivers. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's got to get better.
I yeah. I wouldn't hate to see in this, I guess, just to go into like real X's and O's. I guess one thing. Let me actually start with a gripe. Do you feel like when we run play action, does it do anything? I think there was a couple plays where we ran the play action stretch play where we just hit Lemecki on the backside slant. I think it worked twice, and then we tried to go back to the well one too many times. But
Yeah, you talking
every
the
other
play where he just kind of
time,
stepped up and slapped the ball down like that play?
right, right.
Yeah, yeah. Then that was like the only one. Yeah,
But every
I
other
hear what you're
time we run
saying.
play action, it's just like a slow developing play where, like you said, then we just don't have enough receivers running routes where it's like, okay,
Yeah,
that was a slow developing play, and you've got basically no options, and it
right,
wasn't even set up off a good run. Like,
right. That's what I'm saying. Like the running game was sort of there, but it was a lot of. It wasn't easy. Like it was tough work. Like getting
yeah,
roughly 4 yards, 5 yards a carry. Like meat and potato style run game. You weren't ripping off a bunch of runs. So when you go max protect in two routes, there's no. There's nothing there for the defense to be flying up to stop the run. Like they've
right,
been, they're going to let you move it all the way down the field, which is to Crowell's credit. That's what they made us do. So,
yeah,
no, completely agree. And that's why I was saying like Gears needs to be more targeted. Like I feel like your tight ends, those are the guys a lot of the time that you can hit off your play action plays. Like they're the ones coming down, crashing on people, hitting the linebackers. Like it's easier for them off a play action to sell it and lose their man and create a big play, in my opinion, than receivers down the field necessarily. Because well, I mean the corners and safeties, as we all know, they're locked on their guy. Their responsibility is pass first. So yeah, no, you're absolutely right. And that's kind of my concern. Like with Harbaugh, like yes, he took over after we have lost Mo Ibrahim, and so maybe this is just a little bit coming back down to earth off of that. But the run game feels less and less reliable here the last 3 years, as far as being something okay. Like at least we got this. Now it wasn't terrible last week, like I said. Like I think we did some really good things, especially for a new offensive line and this and that, and not having Darius Taylor. But yeah, I don't know. Like it almost makes me think if there's something schematically or with the play calling of why we're not seeing as many big plays in the run game, or like you said, like play action plays off of the run game.
Right.
But
Yeah, just something just feels ineffective. Like I really don't know
yes,
what exactly it is, and it's hard too. Right? Like we don't know what the plays actually are. We don't know what they're reading or what they're supposed to do. But
yeah,
I mean,
that's the tough thing. You can rewatch the game. There's not like the all 22 tape out to just
right,
go look back
right.
and like a lot. That's been my frustration with ESPN is like a lot of times, and it's tough, right? Like there's only so many things you can show to replay. A lot of times when we don't get to see the whole pass play develop, so we don't know. Like maybe it was all covered, but unless you're there in person and watching the receivers every time, like you don't know. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I guess we've talked about Koi on offense. We want to talk about Koi and the rest of the defense and how that game went.
yeah, I'll talk about. Or yeah, we can talk about the defense. Defensive front. It just took a long time. This was my biggest gripe with the coaching. I didn't think the coaching was as bad, to be honest, on the defensive side. Like, I thought coming out of halftime, you saw that the pass rush finally adjusted better to JKS, running all over the place and buying time. And I thought they corralled him much better. I know they ended up scoring more points, but um, to me, the biggest disappointment, just getting down to it, was like we're in zone coverage and it felt like our players are just covering their zone and not covering the guy in their zone, right? Like you still have to go up and actually defend the man that's within your zone. And I know it's easier said than done, but it felt like we had too many guys that were just, I don't know if it's scared of getting burned deep or what, but too many guys that are just too loose, need tighter coverage in their zone coverage on passing in the passing defense. So yeah, I would maybe probably when they're just picking us apart like that and we're not adjusting in coverage, then I get the argument of wanting to dial up more pressure. But at the same time, he was getting out of a lot of it, and I thought the pass rush in the second half was all right. So not great, but I mean, I think we had more sacks than they did. I think we had three to their two. Maybe it was backwards. Maybe we had their
That
three.
could be
Um, But anyway, I just I really felt like it was more. I talked about a lot of the coaching on offense. I thought the players just really didn't play well on defense, and in particular, I think the safeties have been a big disappointment. And I'm not just singling out Coy here. Kerry Brown's been fine when he's like down like in the slot and around the line, but it feels like they pointed out a couple times. I think it was Brock Osweiler that was the color commentator for this game. He pointed out a couple times of how the safeties just don't even have their eyes in the right spot. So maybe that is coaching, but I would imagine that blanking on Danny Collins, right? That's our D coordinator.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I would imagine him being the former safeties coach that he should have their eyes in the right spot. And we saw how the safeties performed last year. To me, it feels like almost like maybe their eyes are in the backfield. And again, we don't have the all 22 tape, so this could be totally wrong. But maybe their eyes are in the backfield and locked on the corner because they know they're good. They are the best players on the defense as a unit, probably. And I feel like maybe they're just looking to make a big play all the time instead of just playing the tight zone coverage and allowing the play to happen naturally. That being said, Coy almost did have a pick six last Saturday. It was like, unfortunately, the one ball we had batted down at the line. Coy was going to step
Right.
in front of that thing and house it. He was right there, but that's football. And so, yeah, I mean, that's my initial take on it. I don't know. Like, I'm not saying that they was a great coach defensive game by Collins, but I just came around. I felt like I could see more what the defense was trying to do than what I could with our offense. Is guess how I say it. So that's why I
Sure.
lean more on just like coverage execution.
Yeah, and we've seen. I mean, we were praising the defense for how well they've been tackling the first two games, and then we come out and we're just missing tackles left and right. We're not in the right lanes in the run game. Yeah, the zone coverage was way too loose. I mean, they're the one touchdown too. I mean, there's two guys surrounding the tight end. One of you's got to be closer for
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
and then the four guys that converge, no one can tackle them. Like that kind of thing
yeah,
seemed like it was happening a little bit too much. And yeah, I mean, it is tough when their quarterback wasn't going to miss. So, I mean, you're going to give up yards to the air,
yeah,
but it just felt, yeah, like we didn't have an answer for, okay, we can't. we can't blitz them, we can't cover them, we can't confuse them either. Like we're not really showing any crazy different looks
Right.
on defense. So it's like at that point, I mean, it's hard to really ask your guys to do more, but like you got an Anthony Smith, you got a Devin Eastern, you got all these
Yeah.
really good defensive linemen that they just didn't look like they were 100% all night. I don't know.
Right.
Everything was
No,
just a
that's a
little off defensively.
yeah, and I believe you texted it in at the time watching it. That is something they probably could have tried to do a little bit better is disguise the coverage. Like I said, it was kind of backyard football at times there for Cal, and I don't mean
Right.
that as like a shot at them. It just he just bought time until he found somebody down the field, and yeah, like if he's buying that much time, yeah, maybe we should have just blitzed more to try and I don't know get him down. Guys wouldn't have to cover as long, but uh, did and I mean this in the like, did Zaquan Bryan play? Because if so, like he did really well in coverage because I didn't notice him at all. And as a corner, that's usually a good thing. Like I didn't feel like his guys were giving up or whoever he was covering was making a ton of catches because I didn't notice him a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. He did play. Looks like he made 3 tackles.
Okay.
Yeah, he was definitely out there. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think
and I
he did
thought he
well.
did. I meant that I meant to bring that up to highlight that point. I think he's legit. Nestor is solid, like really physical, but I think we see maybe why a little bit he was in the portal. Like the cover just got to be a little bit tighter. Like it's not like he can't do it. It's just not super consistent. So um,
Yeah.
I think it's just something that's got to get cleaned up. And I think that's why we saw guys like Mike Gerald that were in competition for the CB2 spot um, a lot of the time. And I believe Mike Gerald did get actually a little bit of playing time this game as well. I know he was out there once because uh, I thought the guy kind of beat him, but they threw a fade to the guy that he was covering, but it was incomplete. So he got the job done at least. But yeah, and we did lose Justin Wally and Robertson from last year, so we had good corners last year, and maybe that made the safeties overall look better, maybe than they slightly were. I don't know, but right now I just don't feel like the coverage has been um, as stellar as it was. The run defense still looks pretty solid to me. Cal didn't
Yeah.
try it a lot, but even when they did, I think they averaged what I think it was under 3 yards a carry. Yeah, 2.5 yards
That
per
seems right
carry.
around 2. Yeah.
You definitely want that. So, um, I mean, they had Brandon High who had 3 carries for 34 yards, but their main back Raphael 13 carries, 42 yards, 3.2 yards per carry. So yeah, of the guys that were actually running about 3 yards a carry, so that not too bad there. Yeah, maybe that's gonna be the story of the defense this year. And like you said, I think getting creative in your coverage looks could maybe help them, but you can only do that so much with still being able to perform your actual duties.
Right.
So, um, yeah, I mean, I think the run defense has showed enough. I'm still curious to see how it looks like when you run into teams like, Iowa. I think Wisconsin probably this year. Um, Probably missing somebody. Ohio State, I think, wants it. Of teams that want to run the ball is what I'm trying to get at, like that are going to try and
Sure.
continually to pound the middle of the defense. I think that still has yet to be seen, just with maybe not the greatest depth there along the defensive interior, but of the defensive line. But overall, yeah, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think I could see the game plan that they tried to go with. I just didn't think it was well executed.
Definitely. Yeah, and you're going back to like the end of that first half, like that's just those situations that you just can't let happen. You know exactly what they're going to try and
Yeah.
do. And I mean, their kicker still has to make a 50-yard field goal and he nails it, but like just just way too sloppy to let that happen with
Yep.
such a little time. I don't think they had any timeouts at the end there, and you just let them slip by. And obviously, they end up winning by more than 3, but like that was a
Right.
pretty crucial part in the game.
Um, yeah. So we talked about those in general now, and now we'll talk about special teams, and this is kind of the one that needs the context. I mean, the punt return unit, who I just learned that the punt return coach is actually none other than Matt Simon, our receiver coach. So
The
might be
seat
able to
gets
kill.
hotter.
I was gonna say you might be able to kill two birds with one stone there. Anyway, so Koi didn't have a good night at all in the return game. I mean, nothing worked. The fair catch at the 2 yard line to start off. or whatever. One of the opening drives, one of the first couple drives was started off at the 2 because of that. Then the one he didn't catch, which was at like the 8. It's like that's kind of the flip of it, right? Like you let the one bounce at the 8, that's the one you would probably catch, and the one inside the 5 you'd let roll. But and then obviously you're getting the ball back, down a score late in the game. Your defense just got a huge stop, and you muff the punt. Literally, I mean, was that inside the 10 or right around the 10-yard
I think
line?
it was well. It landed around the 15 and it bounced up to the 10. Yeah, where he was at around
Okay,
the inside of there.
and like you could tell how indecisive he looked the whole time. And once it hits the ground and you're indecisive, just get away from it. I know he knows that now, and I feel kind of bad. Like, yeah, these guys make a lot of money now, but there was too many people, more people than I would like to see tweeting like literally at him, like tagging him in their posts. Uh, let's not do that. He's still one of our own. We're still happy to have him. I have no doubt he's going to bounce back here. Just got to get his head right. Everybody has terrible games. It happens. Um, so Koi will bounce back. So let's not turn on somebody that, especially somebody that I know. Like, I'm not saying you can't criticize them at all. Like in a normal football analysis, just talking way. Like but especially a guy like Coy that had his option to go anywhere twice, right? Like out of high school and after his freshman year, he's choosing to be here, and I know he's being well compensated. So I'm not saying you can't criticize him, but let's have just a little bit of grace here and not tag him in every negative post you're seeing about him. But
Right.
yeah, it was a rough night. The missed field goal. I didn't think the punter had a great game. I don't have his name here. I None of his punts looked great, but they were scared of
Tom
Cal's punt.
Weston.
Tom Weston didn't have a great night himself. They were clearly scared of D Jesus or whatever the return guy's name is for Cal. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like that one, the turnover was critical. Game was pretty much over after that touchdown that ensued. Yeah, I just too many mistakes, especially on special teams. The missed field goal, the muff punt, and then not good enough coaching to help overcome it. So that's basically how I felt. It's just no, we didn't play great. Some of the play there was there to maybe come out with a W. Like I didn't think it was a talent thing, and that's no disrespect to Cal. I thought we had the guys to get the job done. Just didn't think we had the game plan, and just didn't execute. I sound like a coach now in a press conference, but you just made too many critical mistakes and didn't have the coaching to overcome it. So that's
Right.
why the Gophers fall 27-14, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah. And to go back, I mean, it's going to get harped on a lot, but hopefully they can flush it. Obviously, Coy is a great player, and he's still young. He's a sophomore. He's a true sophomore.
Yeah.
I feel like it's probably he's just trying to do too much, maybe a little bit. It's a little bit of
Yeah.
like Tyler Nubinitis. Like he's just looking to make plays, and sometimes it backfires. And
That's what I think was happening on defense for him too. Like it's like that guy
right,
caught that ball when they got down to like the 5 right in front of him, and it's just like he took a horrible angle on the play. It's just like
right,
sometimes, like you said, yeah, he was just trying to make the home run play all the time, and it's just do your job first, and then you can go make those plays. But
right. And if that happens in the first possession of the game, it probably gets forgotten. It just happened to happen when it was a tie game. We just did the 3rd and 7 debacle. We get a
yeah,
stop, and then that, and it's like,
yeah,
okay, well, that'll do it. Um, and again, no excuse for it. But one other note, I guess it was interesting, is I think Justin Guard, the sideline radio guy, did notice that Coy was lined up at the 15, and then Simon backed him up to the 10, and then the ball landed
oh,
at
good.
the 15. So obviously the punter can do what he wants. Maybe that was the plan, but he wasn't getting help either. I guess I'll put it
No,
that way. That's a tough situation, but I
so
mean,
Matt
yeah.
Simon is struggling a lot.
But I
You know
have to,
who was my coach for the preseason hot seat was, Max?
Matt Simon.
Yeah, it was. It was Matt Simon. Again, I think we were first on that
Oh,
call. But anyway,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
not
if we
patting
go
us on
way
the back.
back, I think we wanted Matt Simon as the OC too. Maybe I don't know. Maybe
Maybe
he's spiting us. Maybe he's spiting. No, I'm
bold
kidding.
strategy. We'll see how that
I'm kidding.
pays off for him.
No, but once the ball is snapped, I mean, Coy, you can't. And they talked about the Peter call, right? Like once Peter's called, you get away. I mean, that's
Yeah,
like basic fundamental football. And then he just goes and tries to pick it up. Ball takes a bad bounce.
right.
That's why you don't do that, obviously. But
The other thing is Coy's a good enough athlete too, where if he's staying at the 10 and it lands at the 15, you would hope he can run up 5 yards and make
right,
that catch probably. Now it did fall fast, so it wasn't like a booming punt where it had a ton of hang time. But like you were saying, if the Peter calls out, just get away from it. But
and think of what a hero he is if he does scoop it up and takes it back to the house.
oh right,
Like,
yeah.
like we're a bad
Everyone's
bounce
like,
away from this being. Oh my gosh, this is why he's
I
our guy.
know,
You know what I mean? Like
I
it
know.
happens,
That's why I was like, let's pump the brakes here on the actual
right?
ripping on him.
I think he deserves more criticism just for how he played on defense than the
Yeah,
punt game. Like
no, I agree,
just
and
to be fair,
I think the safeties. Like I was saying, the safeties. I think the secondary play in general has been a little shaky. So
yeah, yeah,
in the end, the Gophers move to 2-1. Have a bye week here, so we get to sit with this nice, joyful game in our hearts for a little bit longer. And
yeah,
I mean, I talked a lot there. I know it's critical. I admit I am a fan, but that's why we do this. If you want a proof I don't know anything, look at how I pick these spreads that we're about to do for Sky Pod Parlay. So I'm 0 for 3 here to start the year, folks, on my guarantee bet. That's tough to do.
yeah. That is tough to do. And yeah, we can get into picks. I think we went 1-2 last week. Spencer nailed Arizona over Kansas State. I had way too much faith in Clemson, and they fell short. And then we saw what happened with the Gophers, which, again,
Where's my
I
luck?
guess to end on sort of a positive, we played that poorly, and still a couple times could have won.
I
Like,
was shocked to look back and look at how late we had the lead. Like we had the lead late in
right,
the third quarter, like,
right.
and we did not deserve
Feel
it.
like
Like
it at all?
that.
No.
That's thanks. Like that's what I wanted to just say before fully moving on from the game. Like we don't have to go full question mode. Like to me, I didn't see anything necessarily from the players that made me want to like lower my predictions of what the season
Yeah.
would be.
No.
I had us going 8-4. This was one of the wins, so I'm not like willing to flip any of the L's I have for us preseason to W's at this moment. But I don't think it's like, oh, we lost, now we're going to struggle to win 4 games. I don't foresee that being a thing. I didn't think it was a
Right.
talent issue at all. It was
Right.
just poor coaching and poor not ready being ready to play. Just too many mistakes. So
Yeah. And we're without Darius Taylor for the game. We lose AJ
yeah,
Turner in the game. It sounded like Kerry Brown is dealing with a back injury. We knew
yeah,
the D line was a little banged up, so it is what it is. Nothing went right. Nothing went right last
no,
Saturday. So
yeah.
hopefully they can just flush it. I feel like after the bye, it's a huge. I mean, that's a test, right? Like, how do they respond? How do they get back into their groove? I mean, that's
Right.
PJ's thing. Is now you're 0-0 and you're trying to win one game. So
I'm hoping this was the one bad PJ game a year because it was a bad PJ game.
yeah,
PJ did not have a good
definitely,
game. We talk about
definitely.
the assistants. PJ deserves more blame than what we probably spent time talking about. But anyway, we are
Absolutely.
on to the
All
picks.
right,
Max, I'm
let's
so
do it.
confident I'm going first
Go
with
for it.
my lock. And this one, I didn't anticipate this one being my pick, but it is. There are the Trojans of USC and the Michigan State Spartans playing late Saturday night in the Coliseum. The spread's way bigger than I thought, minus 18.5 USC. But then you look into it, Michigan State's best player, Nick Marsh. Is it Marsh or Marshall? I think it's Marsh, the wide
Marsh.
receiver. Sounding not good for him about being able to play. I've seen Sparty fans very concerned that he's going to play. I forget. I should have looked it up and given credit, but like somebody said, uh, whatever game results happen without Nick Marsh on the field do not count towards our actual record. So I don't anticipate he's going to be, at least even if he does play, not anywhere close to 100%. And they heavily rely on him in that passing offense. They also lost an old lineman for, they didn't say the season, but long term injury is the word they use. So he's out for a while. They lost another starter on offense to a long term injury. So they're down guys, and the defense hasn't really shown me the ability to consistently stop anybody that's close to USC's offensive power. So with that and how good USC's gone, been looking this year. I like the Trojans at home. It's a really late start for the Spartans next week and a far travel, kind of similar to what the Gophers experience. So I think USC will be fired up to get into a Big Ten opponent and just kind of hopefully do in their minds what they think they should have been doing to start last year and just jump out and beat the teams that aren't expected to be top contenders handily. So I'm going to take USC minus 18.5 as my lock of the week.
I like that. Yeah, I mean, and Michigan State being in the Eastern time zone, that's an 11 p.m. local kick for the
Yeah.
Spartans. So, yeah, I like that. I'm now kind of scrambling a little bit.
Was that
It
your
shows up.
pick?
I guess my background doesn't want to let me show it. I have USC minus 18 circled as the lock.
That is
But
that.
I've got a good backup as I just pulled it up here. I like Michigan minus 2.5. It's a close enough line. Michigan, to me, I think offensively, I know they didn't look the greatest against Oklahoma, but they kept that game close. And I think Oklahoma looked really good. And that was like Bryce Underwood's first real road test. I
Yeah.
know Nebraska, it's just I don't trust them yet to really be at
Here's
that
here's
level, I guess.
here's why I can get behind your pick on this one is because Nebraska's run defense has looked suspect so far this year against any decent competition. And we know Michigan wants to run the ball. The O line has looked a little cumbersome at times for Michigan, at least not what we're used to seeing out of them. So, man, the only reason is because I saw this on the pick, so I didn't know this was your fallback, and I was going to take Nebraska to pull off the upset, as I did pick it in my preseason like predictions when we picked through all the games to determine who we had winning the Big Ten. This was what game I had Nebraska pulling off. But I don't hate it. I could very well see Michigan winning by a touchdown or so. Wouldn't shock me.
Right. And that's really the thing. If it was like a 5 or 6 point spread, I would definitely stay away from it just because I think it could be coming down
Yeah,
to the wire. But if I'm basically just picking Michigan to win, I feel more confident in that than them covering a larger spread at this point.
that's funny
But
that we had the same luck. Maybe listeners should just throw in Sparty and the Trojans and like I don't know, throw in whatever extra money it would take to get to the three
that's
picks.
right.
But
It worked out the last time, right? I think we were both going to take Illinois,
I
and
know
then
I was going to bring that up because we didn't discuss that on air. I would have finally hit on one, but I backed off of it to find a separate game, and that didn't work out for me. But anyway,
yeah. And
it's
then,
okay.
yes, Spencer couldn't make it tonight, but he did put in his game. He's taking the North Texas Mean Green on the road at Army. I think North Texas just clobbered Washington State. Army, I think, coming off a bye, they did beat Kansas State, but lost to FCS Tarleton State. So I have no
Oof.
idea what Army's
Yeah.
looking like. So
All
go Mean
right, we
Green.
can roll with it. I love that Spencer's the confidence to pick these teams that like for me are just totally off the map. Like I know, like yeah, I saw the score, but like I didn't watch anything of that game. Like I don't know, did
Right.
did did Washington State turn it over 17 times? Like I have no idea. Like I didn't actually go up and look up the box score or anything. But good on Shuddy. He's doing a
He
lot
knows
better than I
something.
am. So I'm definitely not criticizing him. I'm just appreciating the boldness of it.
That's right. Yeah. Well, we can jump into our regular picks. And I know we just took out, we were going to do Michigan, Nebraska, but since I'm going to take that as my lock, we'll take that one out. We'll find a different one to make it five, but we'll start with the first four that pretty good slate of games this weekend. The first one,
Yeah,
Friday night,
especially for the Big
Iowa.
Ten.
Yeah, definitely. Iowa at Rutgers. Rutgers is a 2.5 point home underdog. What do you think?
Here's here's what scares me is like I know everyone wants to make fun of Iowa's offense, and I don't care that they had a bounce back against was it UMass last week. I don't care that the okay against UMass. That doesn't concern me. I do believe that Iowa is always going to be solid enough to run the football, and Rutgers defense has not looked very good in any game. So as much as I want Ethan to pull this off, I do think Iowa goes in and sneaks off with a W. It is kind of a travel game, slightly, I guess, going out east, but in a short week. But I'm going to take Iowa. I just trust them more.
Yeah, may as well. I'm going to take Iowa. I feel like if it was more than three, I'd probably shy away because I feel like 3 points in this game is basically like a touchdown. Like it's probably going to be lower scoring,
Yeah,
um, but I think Iowa can pull out the win as well and cover that 2.5. So we're in agreement there.
and I hope it's a tough, competitive game that wears down the Rutgers Scarlet Knights before they come here to face us after a bye. So
That's right. The next one, big Big 12 matchup. Texas A or Texas Tech, sorry, goes to Utah. Utah is a 3.5 point home favorite. Utah's looked pretty good with Devin Dampier, the new quarterback that transferred in from New Mexico. Texas Tech spent a ton of money. They're also 3-0 at this point, but their first road test against a tough Utah team. It is at 11 a.m. Um, but I'm just going to take Utah. I'm going to take the Utes to cover that 3.5 point spread. Part of me wants Texas Tech, or I guess to pick Texas Tech just because they're kind of the flashy team this year, but Utah at home just never really disappoints, and they're such a tough team. It feels like they bounced back from last year's disappointment, so we'll take the
yeah,
Utes.
I'm with you. I haven't gotten to watch Texas Tech yet, and I've only seen one Utah game, and they just throttled UCLA for the most part. So, um, yeah, I mean, I picked them last year to win the Big 12, and they had a little bit of a growing year, if you will. So I think that, yeah, I'm with you. All the reasons you said, they're at home. Um, they're a big time program themselves. It's not like they're just some lonely thing that got bumped into to form the Big 12. So yeah, I like Utah at home as well.
All right. 2 for 2. This could be good or bad for us. I did go 0 for last week, so we got to do better than that.
I thought I did too.
Yeah, I think we'll look at it at the end. I don't remember off the top of my head what
I
we all
got
did. I think
Georgia.
Spencer did good.
Georgia's the only one I got. Yeah,
Okay.
Spencer did do good.
The next game, SEC game. I keep forgetting Oklahoma's in the SEC. Auburn goes to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a 6.5 point favorite. The Jackson Arnold revenge game. The transfer from Oklahoma to Auburn. What do you think, Kurt?
I don't trust Auburn at all. And I liked what I saw to Oklahoma in the Michigan game. This is kind of that game that Auburn just seems to get some years. So I get why the line is the way it is. I just think that this Oklahoma team is really believing in themselves, and I'm blanking on the former Clemson D coordinator's name now. Their head coach, who's the Sooners
Brent
head coach,
Venables.
Venables. Yeah, um, I think he's coaching for his job this year, and I don't think they're overlooking anybody. Is what I'm trying to get to. So I like the Sooners.
Yeah, I like Oklahoma as well. I'm surprised. I don't know why. It feels like, I mean, Oklahoma does have a solid defense, but the over under in this game is only 47.5. It feels like it could get into a little bit of a shootout, but
Think so?
I,
I think it
just because
looks similar
Arnold
to the
can,
Michigan game, in my opinion.
yeah, that's true. It very well could. I just feel like both quarterbacks can like run a little bit and just kind of create some explosive plays, but
Sure.
Oklahoma's defense does play very well. So what do I know? All right. Well, we're 3 for 3 in agreement. We'll see on this one. I think we're going to be in agreement as well. Illinois goes to Indiana. Indiana's a 5.5 point home favorite. I think Indiana's without their starting running back. I very well could be wrong. I thought I heard that somewhere, but I like Illinois either way to cover the five and a
Oh,
half. I think
me
they could
too.
just straight up win.
I almost picked it as
Indiana's
my
still
lock,
very
but I
good.
shied away. I know.
I
Yeah,
think
we're in
Illinois
agreement.
looked very solid, even without their receiving threats they lost. They've looked great. So
I think the atmosphere is going to be great for this game. These are two
yeah,
teams that have super high hopes that for most of college most of my life in college football not been the most relevant, and I'm not picking on them. I understand I'm a Gopher fan, and we haven't been in this spot very often at all. They're probably all outside of 2019 either. But yeah, no, just what I'm trying to say. It's too awesome that these two teams have this big of a game, and I think the environment's going to be great. I think I'm pulling for Indiana. I know Signetti's rubbed people the wrong way. I kind of like him. I don't know. I think I just like the way he
Yeah.
talks, and Mike is like basically like F him. We're disrespected. He just like goes about his business. Like I don't know. I like that about him. He just makes me laugh, even if I don't agree with everything he says. And
Right.
old Bert's still there at Illinois, and I know we got him, and we did. But make no mistake about it, Gopher fans, we did ruin his best chance ever at making the college football playoff. Now he's got another year. He's got another chance this year. Thankfully, we're not on the schedule to ruin his chances again. But yeah, I don't. He's a great coach. I don't want to bet against him, especially when he's getting like Indiana could win. I'd be surprised if they win by more, like a touchdown. Like I think it's gonna be a close game. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's 4. We usually do 5. I guess we can. This is a good rivalry game. Um, unless you object, we could do Florida at Miami. Miami's a
No, let's
seven and
do
a
it.
half
That's a
point
great game.
favorite. Yeah, it's at Hard Rock. Miami's a 7.5 point favorite. Florida coming off a tough stretch, but it is a big rivalry game. I think if it was in the swamp, I'd definitely take Florida, but Miami's looked really good. Florida's, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they're going to show up or if they're just going to be on the track to being a dead
I
dog team. So I'm going to
yeah
take the Canes.
yeah. I'm with you. I think we've seen enough. Miami. I mean, South Florida had played teams extremely well and upset Florida. And Miami, I know you can't always just do a compare and contrast. Like, not everything's apple to apples, but South Florida did upset Florida. And then Miami just played them and absolutely throttled them. Like, game was never in doubt. So, um, yeah, I could see it getting close, but I'm with you. We're in agreement on every pick this week, except that's funny. The only one we would have differed on is I would have taken Nebraska, and it's your lock, so we're not picking it. That's funny. Um,
No offense, but I
no,
feel good
now
about that.
okay, yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, I'm sorry, not my lock, but that would have been my
Right.
different pick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it can look really quick here. So for locks, yeah, like you said, you're looking for your first win. Spencer's 2-1. I'm 2-1 now that Clemson lost last week. And then for Pick'em though, you and Spencer are both 8-7. Well, you had LSU that covered
oh,
because
Georgia didn't cover.
they were 3.5. They won by 3.
Oh,
But still, you got
got
the
it.
one. Spencer went 3-2 last week. Last week was tough. He figured that one out. So it's a tough week, 0-5 happens to the best of us. It's just as easy to go 0-5 as it is to go 5-0, right?
That's true. That's true.
So hopefully this is a better week. But yeah, you and
Fade us,
Spencer
folks.
8-7.
Fade us on everything.
That's right. We can't even gamble in Minnesota. So if
I
you're in a state
know.
that can do it responsibly, this is all for fun, right? It's just a little more exciting when you got a little extra change on the game. But
I have to go back. I'm pretty sure I said that we would do something between the three of us, at least who picked the best. Or no, that was for our Big Ten. That's what we should do. We should come back next week. Well, probably a halfway point, or check in on our conference
that's
predictions.
right.
We should do
That's
a.
right. Yeah.
That was
Well, we
what
have
the
our
bet
team
was.
draft as well, right? We pick teams and we're supposed to keep
Right. That's
track
what I'm.
of.
That's what I'm referring
Yeah.
to, like the point thing. But we can do that.
Yeah.
We'll check in on that halfway. Anyway, here's a nice
Yeah.
spiel to end this podcast of nonsense.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone for tuning in to the recap. That was a tough loss, but we get a bye week to flush it. Hopefully, come back and beat the Scarlet Knights at home. I believe that's an
Hit that
11
like
a.m.
and
game,
subscribe.
so absolutely hit the like and subscribe. Again, leave us comments. We'd like to hear your guys' thoughts. Check us out everywhere: YouTube, X, Spotify, or anywhere you get your podcasts. And be sure to check out our partners at thecollegehuddle.com They have all of your college football needs from around the country. Some really good articles, so go ahead and check it out. But thanks, everyone. Have a good night, and go Gophers.